Hi, welcome. We're going to get started. We have a great presentation here today, so as other folks join, I'll just let them in the room. But thank you so much for joining us for today's resource discovery series. My name is Maya Lloyd, and I'm the Student Career Program Manager for the Offices of Experiential Learning and Career Services. And today we are joined by the New York Public Library Career Services team. So the public library actually provides essential support and resources for job seekers and professionals who are looking to craft an effective professional portfolio to enhance their own career. And all of these resources are free. This also includes a free online database called Brainfuse JobNow, which we will receive a demonstration on. And all of this is available to you just with a New York Public Library card, which if you live in New York State, if you attend school, or even if you work in New York State, you are eligible to receive a library card. So we'll go over that information today. You will receive a post-event email through Handshake with all this information, plus the recording, and the recording will also be available in the Handshake, resource library. So with that, I will turn it over to our presenter.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Maya. It is a pleasure to be here talking with you all today. My name is Tanaja Smith Butler, and I'm the Outreach Coordinator for the Career Services Department at the New York Public Library. And thank you so much to the CUNY Graduate School of Public Health and Policies, Experiential Office of Experiential Learning and Career Services. I really appreciate you allowing us to give this essential information to your students. Here. Okay. So as we start out today, and first I'll share, I am completely fine with anyone taking themselves off mute if you want to engage with me verbally, or if you would rather engage via the chat. I should actually probably have the chat up on the side so I can see that, right? But yeah, whether you would like to take yourself off mute, if you want to drop a message in the chat, I'll keep an eye out in case you guys have any questions. But I wanted to start off with asking a couple questions before we get into introducing this resource that's available to you through the library called Brainfuse. And that is, how do you prepare for a job search? So wherever you're starting from, whether you're currently employed or you're looking for a new employment opportunity, if you're in an internship, anything like that, what are the steps that you take as you prepare for your job search? LinkedIn. Okay, so you might maybe that might be maybe updating your LinkedIn, or maybe you're going on LinkedIn to do some networking or seeing what types of opportunities might be available. It's a great place to start your job search. I agree. Give it a few moments in case anyone is typing. Review your resume. Yes, that is probably one of the bigger and possibly sometimes intimidating steps that can be. I see someone has their hand raised. You can share.
Yeah, hi. So I just, instead of typing, my name is Vishali, MPH in Community Health. I think first you have to decide what type of job, let's say, whatever your qualifications are, what kind of job do you want, public sector, private sector. Once you decide that, many of these now, let's say, for an example, Handshake or LinkedIn, they have these filters out there. You set it up. Like, for example, I'm a foreign student, so I'm not allowed to work. So I have to look for only campus jobs. So I look for either US work authorization not required. I put those filters in. I put the filters like OPT, CPT, medical background, blah, 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 blah. You put the filters, and based on those options, hey, like I am looking for example, research associate where I can draw the blood, or they're looking for somebody with the CPR, medical emergency treatment, as well as somebody who knows medicine and apply statistical methods. So using your own qualities and experiences and resume and resources, you set those filters and you start looking for that job first. And then when you apply whatever there, and you see on there, like, hey, we want this, we want this. So for me, like out of eight, six qualities, what they're asking if I have it. And even if I don't have rest of the two, I would still send them my resume. But as I'm starting new, so I'm just learning still how to write a cover letter. But I think cover letter in United States is also another mandatory thing. And research what they are offering a little bit and just add it into that first, second paragraph, change in my cover letter and send it over. That's how I prepare. I would prepare. That's it.
Thank you so much for sharing. I feel like you shared a really comprehensive thing, right? So there are a few aspects of the job search that you talked about. So you came out doing research. You know that there are certain parameters that you have to personally consider when you're conducting your job search. You know a reliable place where you can go to search for work opportunities. You know how to filter it down based off of not only your interests, but your experience and what you might be qualified for. And then you start thinking about the documents that you need to prepare, resume, cover letter, whether you're learning how to do it for the first time or if you are trying to improve it or maybe tailor it for the particular job that you're applying to. A really comprehensive way to attack your job search. Thank you so much for sharing. So these are everybody's job search will look similar, but also different, depending on where you're at in your journey. So thank you all so much for sharing the ways that you start your search. I'm going to move on to my next slide. And my next question is, where do you turn to for help with your job search, right? So we know that you can probably turn to the Office of Experiential Learning and Career Services at your university. It's one of the reasons why you're here with us this morning. But where are some other resources that you can turn to?
Handshake.
Handshake, yes, that's something that you have access to for free, I'm pretty sure, through your university. A lot of great resources and job listings and things, if I recall from my undergrad days, the types of things that Handshake had available. Awesome. See if I can put something in the chat. Some other places you might turn to might be your colleagues or professors, right? Like if you're working closely with anyone, they might, you never know if they might have leads on an opportunity, if they might be hiring or know someone who might be hiring. They can also kind of be a source of advisement, possibly, right? Like if you're like, hey, I just wrote this cover letter, but I'm not sure if this is going to be something that will be appropriate for the job that I'm applying for, they can most likely, people are surprisingly willing to assist if you just reach out and ask for the help. Um, and also turn to like industry job boards. Someone said networks, community organizations, or city agencies that you're interested in. Yeah, so definitely some networks might have things. Your network can be like your personal network of professionals that you've connected with. It could be if there's an association or an organization that you're part of that is industry specific, right? Sometimes those industries will have their own types of job boards. Or city agencies. Yeah, city agencies actually do presentations all the time on how to apply for their job opportunities. I'll actually tell you guys about an upcoming presentation that we have from one of the New York City agencies later this month. That's a potential thing for you to attend if you're interested. But there are tons of places that you can turn to for help. What I want to introduce to y'all today, as you might have been able to tell, is the library. So the New York Public Library has its own, has a department specifically tailored to helping folks with their career goals, right? And we have that wonderful intro from Maya, but just to reiterate a little bit, we provide essential professional development support and resources to job seekers. That's anything from your cover letter, helping you with your resume, getting practice with interviews, conducting your job search, identifying your skills and abilities, helping you make transitions into new areas, all with the goal of increasing your career opportunities. All of the feedback that we provide is objective and tailored to your individual needs, and it's offered both virtually or in person, and all of our services are free. You can see down there's a link in the chat where you can head to our website if you would like, as we're on the call, if you just want to click around, but I'll also show you guys how to navigate the website a bit later. I do want to mention that the New York Public Library in New York City serves the Bronx, Manhattan, and Staten Island. So Queens has its own public library as well as Brooklyn. So they might have additional resources, but I'll be talking about the ones that you can get from NYPL, New York Public Library. We are a part of the adult umbrella of career services, so we're able to serve anyone ages 18 and up. I can tell you about, I think on my next slide, I have a little bit about the resources that we have for folks who are a little bit younger. So we do still have resources for college, for college and career pathways for um, younger folks, but there's a few different buckets of how we offer assistance. So we have one-on-one job support and career coaching appointments. It's a great place to jumpstart your job search. So we have career coaches that you can book appointments in or come to one of our drop-in appointment days so that they can give you feedback or assistance with whatever it is, whatever challenges that you're facing in your job search or whatever stage that you're at. We also offer workshops and webinars, both virtual and in person. This is one of the webinars that we offer. Um, and we also offer programs that we put on by outside organizations, right? So I shared that we're about to bring that New York City agency in, and they're going to be doing a presentation on how to get a job working for New York City, what the application process is. We also have a series of online resources and databases that you can access for free. And that's to help you broaden your search results. Like, you were talking about reliable places that you can go to look for job opportunities or to get assistance, or maybe figure out how you can navigate some of the documentation that might be required for your job search. And then this is a cool resource that we have that we introduced recently here at the library that I'm currently sitting in, the Stavros Narrows Foundation Library. We have a virtual interview room. So let's say you have a job interview, but you do not necessarily, whether it's that you don't have a computer or internet access at home, or if you don't have like a quiet or professional looking space that you want to be able to conduct that interview in, you can request to reserve that room at this branch. You will just provide us proof of a scheduled job interview that you have coming up. And then after approval, you'll be able to have the room for up to 2 hours, covering that time that you have the interview in. And there's a webcam, computer. You can bring your own laptop or anything that you need, all your materials. But that's a service that we offer completely for free. And there's no other location like it available currently in the library system. So the more it gets used, the more we'll hopefully be able to expand that service. So here I am just sharing about our two hub locations. So I just mentioned the library that is over here on the left, the Stavros Narrows Foundation Library, located on 40th and 5th Avenue. If you are familiar with Midtown or, there's a really big library with the lions. We're not that library, we're like just across the street. So pretty close to Grand Central, pretty close to Times Square, very accessible by the trains. And then our second hub location for career services is at the Bronx Library Center. If you're familiar with the Bronx, if you know Fordham or Kingsbridge Road, it's in the Fordham area, and it's the address is 310 East Kingsbridge Road. Also pretty accessible via bus and train networks. So these are the two locations where our offices as well as our career coaches are located. So if you are interested in taking an appointment with one of our career coaches to help edit your resume or do mock interviews or figure out how to practice, salary negotiations or anything like that, you will be meeting us at one of these two locations. If you are, thank you again, Maya, for dropping those helpful links in the chat. But if you are interested in getting more from career services, you can visit our website. If you want to just type it in, it's nypl.org/career services, or you can check out the links in the chat. And you can go there to learn more about career services, to book a career coaching or one-on-one job support appointment, submit a request to use that virtual interview room I was sharing about, or to access the variety of free databases and resources that we have from home, and to learn about our future events. Should you need any assistance, or if you have any questions about, if you need help booking an appointment, you have questions about that, or the reservations, any of the events, the in-person or virtual events that we have, or just general questions, you can give us a call at 212-592-7006 and leave us a voicemail. We'll usually get back to you within a couple of business days, or you can send an email to careerservices@nypl.org. If you scan that QR code on the page, it will take you to our website as well. You have NYPL. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that link, Maya. So NYPL has 92 locations across the 3 boroughs that we serve. So it is by the closest one, I believe, to the school would be the 125th Street branch, if I'm not mistaken. There's also a Harlem branch. There's several libraries that are located over there, and that near the location of your school. And if you go to the website, if you click if you click the link, you can even see, which one is closest to you if you happen to live in any of these three boroughs. And you're not limited to which branch you want to use. You can walk into any of the branches and get any of the services that are available there. It's just that the Career Services Department is only available physically inside of those two hub locations I mentioned. So now we are going to get into the database. One moment here, sorry. So Brainfuse. If you first, I'll tell you how to navigate to it again in case you want to take a look at it as we are going through the presentation. But if you go to nypl.org/job resources, it's going to take you straight to the part of our Career Services website that has a list of all of our job search and resume related databases and resources. It should be right at the top, but it's called Brainfuse JobNow. Whenever you want to access the database, I highly recommend making sure that you go through the library website, because if you just Google it, it'll take you to the it'll take you to the web page, but that's not the free version that you get access to by being a member of the New York Public Library, right? So you want to make sure that you navigate to it through one of these links or through the website. So all you need to access Brainfuse is a New York Public Library card. If you have a physical card, then that will work. If you have a digital card, you can also use that. I can take you guys to the part of the website that has information about getting library cards later. But so all you have to do is type in the barcode that's going to be on the back of your library card, and that is how you get access to your account, right? So you don't have to register or anything like that. Type in your library card and you're ready to go. So after you log in, you're going to be taken to the main page, and so this is what it looks like. So there are a few different categories. I'm not sure if you guys can see my mouse. Can you guys see my mouse moving around on the screen? Okay, good. So this is the navigation bar here at the top, but all of these essentially link to these same things that you see down here. Over here on the top right is where you can see information where you can click this drop down to get information about your account, which I'll show you a bit more when we do a brief demo later. The website is also available in a few different languages, so if it would be easier for you to read in Spanish, you can have the web page translated into Spanish as well. So Brainfuse itself is a database so you can access a ton of these resources at literally any time of day from anywhere you want. There are some live chat features that are available, but they're pretty widely available. They're, as you can see here at the top, it's every day from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. So that includes weekends. However, it's just not open on holidays. So this upcoming Monday for Indigenous People's Day, they will not be available. But any other day of the year, except for like federal holidays, you can get access to it. So there are a few different buckets here. So we've got it listed under resumes. So here's where we'll get into some information about how you can access some templates, get some resources, be able to get some feedback, and also get some additional help with building your resume. You've got interview and skills. So it's going to offer some tips and guides on the best practices, do's and don'ts, stuff like that for interviewing, some additional online resources, and then some information about how you can improve your skills, whether it be kind of generally in life for day-to-day stuff, or if it's specific to like education, like there's like literal study guides in here, essentially, and practice tests. And then there's the job searching aspect where they've got some things you can do to get matched to a job, kind of some general information. There's some other resources you can use as well. They can even provide you context about how to apply for unemployment if you would like that's something that you need assistance with. Some more career assessments and resources. I'm gonna go to the next slide. So here's a screenshot of what it looks like if you click on the resume templates. There are a few different formats available. If you would, sorry, let me ask this question. Are any of you familiar with the fact that there are different formats, not just formats in terms of the way of like, oh, there's lines here, or I'm using bullets, I'm not using bullets, but there are different ways that you would write a resume. Have you ever heard of the chronological, functional, or combination formats? Okay, so some of you are familiar with it. That's good. So there are templates both for functional, for combination, and for chronological. So most of us are probably most familiar with the reverse chronological format of resumes, where it's got your name information at the top, and then starting from your most recent employment, it goes back in history from whatever jobs you may have held for the past few years, and lists out that underneath each of those positions lists out the experience and the skills that you had as a result of that job. A functional resume is something that you might want to use perhaps if you are choosing to switch careers, or if maybe you've had a bit of a gap in your employment history, or if you're just starting out. Right, so like if you're, let's say, maybe have not held a job since you have been in school, it might be useful to use the functional format because you get to list out the experience that you've learned from the courses that you're taking, if you've been on any internships or anything like that, without having to worry about the fact that there may be a gap in time from when you've been working. And the combination is exactly what it sounds like. It kind of mixes the two, but there are reasons why you might want to use some over the others. It's really dependent upon the circumstance you are in your job search. This is an example of one of the templates. So the text that you see here in black is what you would be filling in, or what you would be writing. The text that you see here in red is the basically giving you information on how to fill it out, right? So sharing here information like objective is kind of like in what you might start out with, although objective is kind of an older term. We'll get into some templates that are available on another part of the database that have some more slightly updated information. But so this is it. So it tells you what you should fill out here. It even gives you examples right here of like how folks filled it out for these different qualifications that they had. So yeah, it's pretty easy to follow. It's kind of very plug and play. Put your information in there. And so this is good if you don't have any form, if you don't already have a resume formatted, if you're trying to do it for the first time, or if you are trying to, maybe switch formats. Oops, sorry, went a little too far. Up next is a resource that I'm going to show you more when we get into the demo part, but it's called Skills First. It is a free platform that's accessible inside of Brainfuse. So it's you sign into Brainfuse first, and then you sign into Skills First. But using this platform, so it's got some guides and things here, but you can create resumes from scratch. You can also upload your own resume. So it can also kind of serve as, you can see over here that you can like literally save your documents in here. So it's great because it can help you keep things organized. So you have the ability to both create, edit, and organize documents in here, whether you're working from scratch or from a template. It got some you can do the same for cover letters too. So you see that I drafted a cover letter in here. They can do stuff like help with there's features in here that include like how to create a pitch for something. So let's say you're cold emailing someone that you want to network with, or that you're wanting to, you're cold emailing a hiring recruiter or something like that. They've got some sample pitches that you can use. There's features that you can use to help practice for interviewing, like they'll simulate an interview. So lots of stuff that's available inside of here. One of the career coaches that I work with is she's like, I'm in this platform every day helping patrons. So it's a really useful tool. There are aspects of the tool that are powered by AI. With anything that is AI related, if you are going to be uploading anything into it, you just want to make sure that you're not including any confidential or personally identifying information, right? Something that you would not want to possibly bring back to you, get given to someone else. However, I will say this does not work the same way that like Chat GPT or something like that does. Like it's not, you can't just type anything in here. It's very specific prompts that they're giving you, or it's very specific ways that they're meant to assist you. So you can put in your resume, copy and paste a job description that you're interested in applying for, and then it'll tell you how you might need to adapt your resume, what you should add to it so that you can better align with the job that you're applying for, right? But it's not going to generate a whole resume for you automatically. It'll just help you with the formatting based off of what you have put in there. We'll get to more of that later. One of the other tools available in the resume section is the resume lab. So this is great because let's say you need help, you like, I'm about to apply for this job. I need some feedback. I don't know if my formatting is right. I don't know if the skills that I have really make sense with what I'm applying for. You can upload your resume to the platform. You can type in some specific details about the type of feedback that you're looking for. So let's say I was like, I'm concerned about that my resume is not well formatted or it's not ATS friendly, right? The applicant check-in system. I'm not sure if anyone is anyone familiar with what ATS is? Is everyone familiar with it? No? Okay, I'll share a little bit about that as an aside. So the applicant tracking system, if you have done any job applications within the past few years, you might notice that, it's a portal. You have to upload your information. You have to answer the questions and things like that. A lot of companies have the system that they accept applicants through is essentially they're running everything, all of your inputs, they're running it through AI to check whether or not the content that you have well matches the job that you're applying for. So they're like it's a system that automatically checks this like, okay, does it have these keywords? Do they have this experience? Does it say that they have this degree? And then it's like you're trying to pass a threshold essentially. So let's say you have a good match. Let's say the content on your resume or the content on your cover letter or the content in the question, the prompts that you're answering has say it has an 80% match to the job that you are applying for, then you might be able to make it through. Different companies might have different thresholds for that. But if you've ever wondered why maybe your job application got rejected super quickly, you're like, there's no way that anybody possibly had the time to look at my application or look at my resume. It is likely because that platform is using an ATS system. And so something to we can definitely ask your career coaches about it, or ask your career coaches to give you more feedback maybe on your resume and if it is ATS friendly. But that is something that we do have to consider when doing job applications these days. Is that we have to make sure that it'll make it through that system. And Skills First does have some tools to help you be able to do that. So what I was saying earlier about like you can copy and paste the job that you're applying for in there and have your resume in there and it'll tell you like how much of it matches essentially or the type of things that you might need to add. So maybe you have the experience, but you don't have it phrased in a way that the system is going to read as what it wants. Skills First has a feature to kind of help you with that. It's kind of a lot, definitely a topic that you might want to revisit with your career coach. You can also sign up for appointments with any of our career coaches here at the library and they can assist you with that sort of thing. But either way, whatever feedback you want on the resume or the cover letter that you're submitting, you type in to say what you're looking for. You can even copy and paste or link the job that you're applying for in there, and they'll give you feedback based on that. I'll show you an example of some feedback that I got on a resume that I submitted. Yeah, this is great because let's say you can't get an appointment, or let's say you're like I'm not available at the times when I can use, people might usually be able to get help. I'm in class, I'm at work, take care of my kids, anything like that. You can just do this asynchronously, essentially. Like you don't have to wait for someone to be available to help you in person. Oops, sorry. Okay, the next bucket we have is interviewing and skills. So some of the resources that are linked are interview tips or various other online resources. Like it'll link to some articles that can give you more information and context about ways to prepare you for an interview. So they've got this is a screenshot of what this particular section looks like. I got some tips for what to do before, at the interview, common questions you might be asked, to ways that you might want to format your responses, and types of questions that you might, they always ask, do you have any questions for me? Never say no. Always say yes and follow up with some questions that you prepared beforehand. So they can just just some tips on that because interviewing is hard. Oh, keep pressing the wrong button. Sorry, y'all. Um, so this is a screenshot of it. So yes, the exact Maya agrees. Never say no. So this is a screenshot of what it looks like if you were to click on the before the interview resource. So it's telling you that you should make sure you do some research about the employer, make sure that your resume is prepared, make sure you all know, and then make sure you get some practice in. So I actually believe one of the features of Skills First will also help you with like mock interviewing or answering interview questions. And of course, that's something that you can rely on from the career coach at your career services office, at our career services office. Um, you can literally, when you make an appointment with us, you can literally say, I want to do a mock interview. This is the job that I'm applying for. And the coach will walk you through the steps or like help you like actually ask you the questions so you can really feel more prepared and more confident when you actually get to the interview. This is another resource sorry. What is NYPL career coaching? How is it different from CUNY's career coaching? Are those resources free or is there a cost involved? And what is LinkedIn Learning? So so if you remember back, and I'll go back for us. Where is that? So NYP career coaching from the New York Public Library, you have access to our career coaches that are stationed at those hubs that I mentioned, or you can make an appointment with them virtually. And it is a one-on-one appointment where you meet with one of our career coaches and whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, whether it's just that you want someone to help you review and update your resume, you want to practice for an interview, if you are, let's say you're like, I'm about to graduate, or I'm about to finish my internship, I need to look for job opportunities. So they're essentially a guide. They're here to coach you through your um, professional journey, and they're giving you personalized feedback, right? So whatever the journey is that you're trying to take, like whether you're like, hey, I just got this degree, but I also had experience in I don't know, I've got experience in public speaking, so I really want to be a public health advocate or something along those lines. Um, they can help you figure out what that path will be. So they can guide you on how to start the research for you to be able to take those next steps. They can help you look for those types of job opportunities. They can help you practice for basically any sort of assistance that you might need or any guidance that you might be looking for. They can help give it to you in a personalized way. Those services are free from the New York Public Library. You just have to be able to make an appointment. And I'm sure that as a student of CUNY SPH that you have access to your career coach for free as well. Maya, did you want to share anything about how folks can get access to your career coach?
Yeah, I'll just say in terms of the difference, I mean, I think career coaches across the board, right? They serve the same general purpose is to help you in your professional development journey and your job search. But specifically, career coaching at our school is open to current students and alumni after up to 1 year after graduation. So I think that's the major difference. You have someone available to you at your school, and then you also have this amazing resource, with the New York Public Library if you choose to take advantage of it as well.
Thanks, Maya. So you can start. It's not like you have to use one or the other. Obviously, you can access the career coaching here at the library for free at any time. That includes, let's say that 1 year period after you've become an alumni of the university is now up. You're like no longer have access to a career coach for free. You can make an
Yeah,
appointment.
that's exactly what I want because I know university time is so limited for us. It could be 1 year or 2 year. And this is I first want to thank both of you for doing this because I never knew it existed. And I would definitely go back to my class today and I'm going to share with my classmates about this because who do not know about this. Like, let's say the students who are not accepted in CSA, they can actually probably get benefit from this service where there's a career coaching ex because the outside New York is so expensive. People actually charge you money for that. And getting that in city like New York for free, tailored towards your skills, something like this without any co generally, anything you do in New York, you have to pay money, and knowing something exists for no cost and under the big umbrella of NYPL, it means a lot to me. And I know a lot of people are not aware of it. But yesterday only I was talking to one of my classmates who is potentially looking, and I'm definitely going to go and tell her, like, they do have this career coaching. You just need to, and for CUNY, because of now she's also a CUNY alumni, I think it's going to be very beneficial for her. So thank you guys for sharing it. And then for me, let's say after 2 years, this is going to be far more important, especially now I can see the pharmacology and medicine out there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for jumping on to share that. Yes, so I shared some flyers with Maya that'll have the information about our services and how you can get appointments and things. I can access the virtual interview room. So I'm sure she'll follow up later with sharing that information. So hopefully you can give a flyer to your to the classmate that you're talking about. But if not, yeah, just tell them to Google NYPL Career Services, check out our career coaching, check out the programs that we have. We do job fairs, we do recruitment events across different library locations. Individual libraries offer their own, select locations offer their own sort of resume assistance, not quite career coaching, but just support. Yeah, there's a lot of free support that you can get through the library. And again, all for free. That's why it's so important to make sure that our libraries remain funded. If you ever see an email you about, the campaign to like make sure that the public libraries stay funded, please sign that. Please sign that campaign.
Yes.
But we were on, oh, okay, Skill Surfer. So one of the resources that is available in the interviewing and skills portion is called Skill Surfer, and it's essentially a series of guides, it's like study guides, resources. It'll give you practice exams or sample questions and things like that for a very, very wide variety of industries and professions. So they've got everything from AP high school exams to how to become a web developer. As you can see here, there's like pharmacy technician information. If you look over here on the left, like all of these, like on the actual website, all of these things that are is stuff that you can click on, and it'll pop up a similar page as what you see here for the pharmacy techs. And it'll give you, sorts of preparation guides. So other than actually functionally, if you're already in this like pathway, other than actually helping you study for it or get, practice for upcoming exams or like brush up on what you've been learning, it can also give you an idea. So let's say you are not currently in school to be a pharmacy tech, but you're interested in what that might look like. You can come in here and see the types of things that so I'm seeing that like, okay, I need to know a lot of terminology about different different systems in the body. I need to know how different types of drugs affect different systems in the body. So I'm like, okay, if I were to come in here and I would see that there's a lot of requirement for like knowing like backend web development stuff. Like I need like very specific certifications and biomed or something like that. I might be like, oh, that's not for me. Or I might realize that I need to, that there's a lot more studying that I have to do before seeking out that career. There's a question, are there any resources if someone wants to work for the Department of Health in New York? How can they find filters for that, especially after completion of their MPH at CUNY? So when I get to the demo part, we can scroll through together and see if there's anything that would align. I think there's a lot of things that you can do for the Department of Health. So if there's a particular, like if we can narrow that down to something, then we can. Unfortunately, there's no real filter. Like you can't filter out for it to just like populate exactly what you might be looking for. This resource, you have to like scroll through. It is organized alphabetically if that helps at all, but you do have to scroll through and click on the guide that you're looking for. Yes.
I just have one quick question. So you see these career information and I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Career
Yeah,
information and credentialing.
yeah, this job resources. Is it limited just to New York geographically, or it's all over the country?
So this information is not specific to New York City
Yeah.
or New York State. Um, So the information that is here is something that can generally be used throughout the
Throughout the
United
country.
States.
Okay.
So it won't say like in New York, in New York State, you have to have this specific license. It's kind of like general guides and information. Okay. Yeah, that one. Another one of the resources, sorry, if we're shifting over from the skills and interview section over to the job search resources, they've got stuff in there, like let's say you don't know you don't know what you want to do. You're like, I wanted to work for the Department of Health, but I don't know what I want to do in there. I'm not sure. You want to explore. They have questionnaires essentially where you fill out the information of what your interests are, what your skills and preferences might be, and they'll give you back some general information about the types of careers that might be a fit for you. I'll show you some other career assessment tools later as well through a different platform that might be helpful. Feedback from our career coaches, these are okay. There are definitely better job assessment resources out there, but if you're like need like a base starting point, or let's say you're even helping someone else like start out their job search, this is not a bad place to start. This is another one of the resources available in the job search resource column. So this is a link essentially to some general job sites, things that if you are looking for like a reputable place, some reputable job boards or places that you can go to for information. Go to for information. You can check out the links here. And then, all of these should have filters that you can go by to look for more types of career opportunities. Now we are on to what is my favorite feature of Brainfuse, and that is the live assistance feature. So if you remember earlier, I was saying that you can get live assistance in all three of those categories. So the resume and cover letter section, the interview and skills section, and the job search section. So this is an actual conversation that I personally had with one of the tutors or coaches that run Brainfuse. I'll pause here for a moment to give some additional information that I might not have mentioned earlier. Brainfuse is available to you through the New York Public Library, like that's how you're able to access it for free. But the library doesn't run the platform, right? So when you're speaking to the tutors, when you're speaking to the coaches, you're not speaking to New York Public Library's coaches, you're speaking to the professionals that work for Brainfuse, right? So just to keep that in your head, like the folks that you're being able to access are not the same as the folks that you would be talking to and working with when you come here to the library. But they're still extremely knowledgeable and kind and helpful, right? So this was actual conversation that I had with someone before I got this job. Like for my second round interview, I was asked to create a presentation, which I never had to do for a job interview before. So I came in here to ask for a little help. I think I did this at might have been like 9 o'clock at night, which there's not many places that you can go to and like get, other than like a friend or a mentor perhaps, to get this sort of professional assistance. So the chat it's available through chat. So this is, I was doing this on my computer. But you can also request for an audio call. So you could talk both over chat or you can also talk via audio. Um, Again, it's available every day of the week, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 11 p.m., with the exception of holidays. And also that's not what I wanted. Oh, so not only is there live chat assistance, but you can do stuff like probably the fastest way if you get assistance with a resume or cover letter is to wait until the live assistance feature is open to talk to a tutor or a coach. And then you can actually upload your document to them and they can give you back edits live. So there's like a whole whiteboard feature. So like, let's say you wanted to upload it onto the whiteboard, which would like be right beside the chat, can get on the audio call. You guys can talk through, look at your resume. They can give you pointers on some different things. Let's say you're like, I'm looking for some edits. You can upload it. They'll do their work on the back end. I think that I asked them just for like some very brief feedback for the purpose of being able to show off this feature. But he was able to get the document back to me in less than 20 minutes. And so if I had asked him for even more detail, it might have been no, he got it back to me in less than like 10 minutes. But if I'd asked him for more detail, if it had been like a conversation, like a back and forth, where I was like, I have this job that I'm applying for, and I want to make sure that this resume is like really top notch so I can stand out when I apply for it, would have been able to still give it back to me live within the duration of the conversation. And so this is an example of some of the feedback that he provided. Again, it was just very basic feedback because I just needed it for this example so I can show you guys how it works. But I uploaded the document, he downloaded it, did some work on his end, he uploaded it back into the system, and then it provided me with a link where I could securely re-download the document. And it had the stuff like built in there, like the comments are in here. This is like a feature of Microsoft Word, I believe. But then I could immediately come in here and start making my edits. I could update the information, or I could add more stuff. And let's say I wanted to keep doing this. Let's say I'm like, okay, this is good for this one, but now I want to make a version of it that is for for a different opportunity. We can do that, and it can be a conversation back and forth. And this is live help that you could get at like 10 o'clock at night if you wanted. So all of the conversations that you have with the coaches are recorded, or with the tutors and coaches are recorded. So once it concludes, it'll ask you to take a brief survey. It's really quick, but it also gives you the option to email the transcript of the conversation to yourself. You can do a replay, so it'll show you like message by message what you just had. If there was an audio call, it'll also have recorded the audio. Or if you want to just straight up download it to your computer, you can. This is back on the home page, or sorry, this is if we were to go back to the home page of Brainfuse, then on the top right, click on our account, and then click on past sessions. This is what the view will come up as, and then you can hit play, or you can, sorry, it's blocking over here, but you can download the replay. So like, let's say you're like, oh man, they gave me a really helpful tip that I didn't write down. I forgot what they said, or like, I completed, this job application, I completed this interview. Now I want to use that help and apply it to this other circumstance. You can do that. So you'll have access to all the conversations that you have with any of the tutors. Let's say you're working with someone and they're really helpful. You're like, I want to work with them again. They seem really knowledgeable in this topic. If you want to continue the conversation, this was again literally a question that I asked the tutor who was online with me. They said if you want to see the same person again, you would log into your account like normal, click on the live resume or the live interview and skills assistance, and then whoever they pair you with, just ask them for the tutor. So when you log on, it'll say I think it'll say their first name and then like the initial of their last name. So you could go watch your replay, see who you were talking to. I was talking to Jordan M. So I'll come in here and be like, hi, I would like to speak with Jordan M if he's available. The tutor will talk to some folks behind the scenes, see if that person is currently available, and then they will switch you over to the person that you want to be paired with. So you can continue working with the same person if you would like. Okay, now we're going to get into the demo part of the presentation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment. Get out of here. Okay, so I'm going to go through a few tabs. Hopefully it didn't kick me out of this one. Okay, are you guys seeing my page okay? Okay. So this is the landing page for the New York Public Library's Career Services Department. So that was one of the that was dropped in there earlier. You can see you've got some information about the department here on the landing page. We usually highlight a few events here. So we're actually having a job fair coming up in Staten Island, the St. George Library. So you can get information about some upcoming events that we have. Here's some information about one-on-one support and career coaching. If you want to register for an appointment, you can do that through here. You click one of these links. It will tell you a little bit more about career coaching, the type of stuff that we can help you with. You click schedule an appointment, and it's going to take you to this page. We have a few different options. So again, that difference between career coaching, again, is not like personalized, like help, that guidance. They can also help you, with your documents, your portfolio, anything like that. One-on-one job support is more so if you like need, it's more limited in scope, more so to like functionally getting something done. So if you're like, I need my resume reviewed versus I need to figure out where I want to transition with my career based off of this past experience that I have and this certification that I just received, then you might want to do career coaching, but you're going to pick by location, either at our Midtown location, Star Wars Narrows Foundation Library, or the Bronx Library Center if you want in person, or you can do online. I don't really recommend phone appointments. It's really hard to do a resume over the phone, but we have it as an option because not everyone may have not be able to get online or come into the branch. So you look at online appointments. I will say that this is a probably similar to the career coach at your school. It's a very popular service. So the appointments are sometimes not available for I think up to 60 days out. So you might not be able to get an appointment immediately, but you can see what's available, book your appointment, you'll answer some questions, type in some information. These are the different coaches that we have available. Let's say you worked with Kathy and you want to keep working with Kathy, you can select her and and see what appointments she has available. Or if you click no preference, it'll just show you the next available appointment. I'm gonna go back. The information about the virtual interview room is also on here. You've got links to Brainfuse and some other things. So this is landing page up here. There's also a little nav button to get you to some of these things. If you go to, oh, sorry, that was the wrong one. If you go to the database and job search tools, this is where that link that I gave you guys earlier, this is where it will bring you to if you want to be able to access Brainfuse. The last thing I'll show you here on the website is if you are interested in looking at events, right? Like let's say like, I want to see what career related things are happening around the library right now. Sorry that this pop-up keeps on coming up, but you can click on our NYPL events calendar. And then up here you have a bunch of refining options, right? So let's say I only want to see what's happening in Manhattan, and I only want to see what's happening for adults. On after today is fine, but here in topic, I'm going to select career and resume. And then I can refine by audience if I want, but it's it's fine enough, I think, just to refine by the borough that you want, and by the topic, and you click refine, and it's going to show you all of the upcoming events. So I selected Manhattan, but if I had not selected Manhattan, no, not. So yeah, select them all. So there's 22 upcoming events across the New York Public Library system. So we're actually teaching this class again for patrons in general on the 14th. There's some Tech Connect classes mixed in here, but there's a program happening on October 15th at the George Bruce Library on job search fundamentals. There's one on the 15th at the County Cullen Library on sharpening interview skills. So you can click on any of these events to learn more about them. Some of them may require registration, which will be pretty simple. It's just the library website. But either it requires registration or it's like a first come, first serve situation. In either case, go to that library at the time of the event. So that's how to navigate events on our page. Now this is, let me make sure it didn't lock me out. Okay. So now we are switching over to looking at Brainfuse itself. So what I wanted to show, so none of the live features are going to be available right now, so I can't click on to show you guys that. I already showed you kind of what the resume templates look like. So they've got the templates here available in English, got them in Spanish. If you click on anything, it's just going to download the form directly to your computer, and you can open it up and start editing it. Resume resources gives some more information about the different, it like lists the templates again. They've got a series of things here, oddly military leaning, not sure why, but one of the resources that I want to highlight for you here is Career One Stop. Their resume guide is useful, but they also have a series of assessments that are available. So let's say you're trying to do some career exploration, you're not sure where you want to go, that you want to do. They have a few different type of assessments available, and they're pretty quick. I was able to do them very, very quickly yesterday, as I was testing this out for y'all. And so you can do one to test out what your interests might be, what your skills might mean in terms of what type of careers you might want to pursue, or your work values, as in like what do you value in in the workplace, like what are the things, what are your must-haves when it comes to working somewhere? What's going to make you feel fulfilled and keep you happy, which is really important for any job. This is an example of what the skills matcher looks like. So I think this one is like the series of 30 questions. You just finish this. This one is, I like the way that this one is set up because it gives you examples of like the level of what they mean by like beginner. It's not just like 1 through 5. It's like really helps you identify like or assess to yourself, okay, am I really advanced in this? Am I just skilled or am I kind of at the beginner level? So you fill all these out and they'll give you some recommendations. These were the results when I did the interest assessment. So I filled this out based on my personal interests and skills. And here were some. So it's got it by like the best matches that I would have, potential career areas. Which again, this is kind of you can like take this information and then run with it. So you might be like, oh, I didn't know that art therapy was possible. What does that mean? That might be something that you can go into and research and see the different ways that you can get involved in it. Tells you the outlook for that sort of career, like, okay, it says that for art therapists, it's a pretty bright outlook, meaning that it's growing in opportunities and there's plenty available. Tells you some average hourly wages if those are available, and then the type of education that you might need. So you could click through these and see what might interest you. And this one, oh yeah, this is just another assessment tool where, but in this format, you're like taking these and taking these cards and adding them to whatever you most identify with. And then they'll give you kind of like a graded thing of like where your values lie and the type of things that you might need in a career. So if you value independence, or if you value really getting support, if you value being able to, having space to innovate and be creative, then that's important to you. So those are some of those resources. I'll head back. I shared with you the resume. Oh Lord, it just logged me out. Okay, I guess I was idling for too long. Give me one moment while I type in my library card number again. So sorry about that. Okay, sharing my screen again. Okay. So here in the resume lab, this is where you can upload your document in order for you to get some like asynchronous feedback on it. So you just upload the file that you're interested in. Here's where you can type in the prompt. So I might say, I'm looking for feedback on the layout of my resume. I want to make sure that it's ATS friendly for when I apply to this job. Can you also let me know if the skills and experience that I have listed match or mirror what would be required for the position that I'm applying for? You hit submit and they will give you feedback within 1 to 2 business days. And I can actually show you, might get a little weird in here. But so I can show you, so when you get it back, they'll tell you, you get a notification here. So I've got this in my little messages, my inbox. There will be an attachment. I'm going to switch how I'm sharing my screen so that you can see what this document looks like. Switch to this one. Okay. Are you guys seeing this document up here now? Okay. So the first page is kind of some general information from Brainfuse, tips and general suggestions about your resume, and then links to the format. But then here's the actual format here. So I can see here that in the blue text is what they're suggesting. So some of the feedback that they gave me is that my margins are too small. Might make it a little bit difficult for folks to read, that I should remove the border lines around here, which I actually don't know why those are on. I think that was a weird thing when I took it from a PDF to a doc format. So they told me that like having these on here, whether it was intentional or a mistake, will affect how ATS reads my resume. Recommended that I add a profile as the first section, so they've highlighted a few particular points. So they'll pretty. pretty good feedback. And the prompt that I gave them was definitely like just that I'm concerned about how an ATS system will read my resume. So I'm going to switch back to this. So that's what that looks like in your inbox. And so you'll get these notifications in here. So whenever you want to, let's say you submit your resume, you submit your cover letter, I would check back maybe within the next 1 to 2 days, and you should have a notification. Yes, you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask that, so all these brain, especially for resume, right? I just wanted to kind of summarize a little bit of it before we move forward.
Mhm.
Like in this, I can give them my resume and I can just in the Brainfuse and they will send me back, let's say, hey, you should repair this, but like literally every part of my resume, they're gonna like kind of like send me suggestions on it. Is that what you're saying
So
here?
So you have to give them a prompt, right? So like if you just tell them, if you just submit your resume, they don't know what you're trying to use it for. They don't know what type of feedback you're looking for. So it is highly suggested that you tell them the type of feedback that you need,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so for an
So
example, let's say at the beginning, I want to tell them like, hey, I just want you to make my resume look funny. I have like 8-page resume and I'm trying to minimize and minimize and minimize and minimize. But at the same time, I want them to cut down my resume without losing the original content on qualification and publications of my own. Uh, and I give them that prompt and correct the English, correct the grammar, make it look more Americanized. Let's say if I give those kind of prompts, right? Do you think they can give me feedback on that?
yes. So
Okay.
I would definitely, you might want to give them context, like my the original format of my resume is not the American version of the resume, and so I'm trying to make sure that it is, fit for applying for jobs in this, in this country. I would like to reduce the format without losing the experience that I have. You might even ask them, like, should I switch my format to a function? Should I be using a functional resume? Like, can you give suggestions for how I can make this into a functional resume? And they're giving you the feedback. Like you could see that she was like, oh, like fix this lettering here and stuff like that. She highlighted stuff. It didn't look like she did the edits for me. So they'll give you the feedback, but I don't think that they will actually sit there and like make your resume for you. Um, does that answer your question? Okay. Okay, thanks. Back to the home page. Um, and sorry, I also want to make sure I want to make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat because for some reason that window disappeared from me. Those live sessions are available. Oh, that was a little while ago. You were asking if the live sessions are available in the near future. If you were talking about live sessions here on Brainfuse,
E-
they will be available today at 2 p.m.
Oh, okay. So when you were at that time, when you were saying like, they are not available at that time, I didn't understand. So what I meant to ask is like, are you saying right now you're presenting to us, it's not available, but they are available rest of the days? Are you trying to say that? That's what I was trying to understand.
Gotcha. Okay. And I
Okay.
also wanted to, I didn't know if you were talking about Brainfuse, if you were talking about the library's career coaches either. So just want to make sure we distinguish between those two. Time. Yeah, so there's the resume lab. I showed you guys how you can get some feedback. I am going to dive into skills first a little bit. It's going to take a little minute to load. And this one boots me out even quicker, which is why I didn't load it up earlier. But do you guys have any questions so far about the platform? And maybe we can look at something else while that's loading up. Do you guys have any questions at the moment? Okay. While skills first is loading, which again is another another way that you can like help build or edit resumes, cover letters. It's got stuff in there to help you how to practice for interviews or write pitches. I really like it for the help that I can do with formatting, and especially to be able to determine what types of particular like phrasing that you need to use for like your hard skills, your soft skills, your experience. Um, Because again, you can do that comparison of like, take the job description for what you want, take your resume and ask it to tell, it'll tell you this type of stuff that you need to add in. And then you can use the thing to edit and add it in. So there's the interview stuff. I showed you a little bit of like what the interview tips look like, but again, they've got before, at the interview, common questions and stuff. So you can use this to kind of, like, let's say you're the type of person that likes to have notes before you go into an interview. You can kind of use this as a starting point for you to start preparing your notes. Of course, you want to do research on the company that you're interested in, and you maybe perhaps even the hiring manager, so that you but have a good knowledge of where you're starting from, like what are your skills and strengths. Like you don't just want to walk into an interview unprepared, obviously. And so they've got some resources to help you with that. They've got online resources, which is just a link to a few more, things. I like this one right here, 100 potential interview questions. But it's also just a link to like a monster.com, one of their articles. Information on how to dress for an interview. Skill Surfer is the tool that we were talking about before that has all the study guides and stuff. So again, remember I told you it's got everything from like high school stuff, college related things. So I don't know if there might be some things. This seems like undergrad stuff, probably like basics of some stuff. But underneath the career prep and job resources section is where we can find some more information. So let me see if I can find something that is health related, healthcare assistants, healthcare social workers, healthcare technologists and technicians, support workers. So let's say I want healthcare technologists and technicians. It looks like it has a good, it's going to download something. Oh, some practice flashcards, things there. So like they're formatted differently. Some will be just like a list of study terms. Some of them might be something like this, where it's something you can kind of feature to help you, answer and practice the questions. But like this only has one resource on it, whereas some of the other, the other resource that we were looking at, I think was, what was it? Pharmacy tech, right? Let me see. Pharmacy technicians. So this has got way more stuff. And it's formatted, I guess, in like it'll show you your progress. So like you can jump around if you need to, if you're like, I really only need to brush up on opioid terminology, you can do that here. It's got some additional resources there. And let's say you have questions. The live help is still also available for these study features. But this is what I meant by like, there's no like filter really. You just got to like look through and see if it has what you might be interested in. One of the other things that can help with is unemployment assistance. Like I said earlier, if you're interested in applying for that or you need some assistance, some support going for that, got the career assessments linked. I think, oh yeah, Skillsworks has loaded by now. Okay. So again, some of the tools in this platform are powered by AI. If you need to make sure that you are protecting your personally identifying information. So that's anything that is confidential or anything like if you wouldn't want a stranger to know it, if you would be concerned about them knowing, your personal information, like your date of birth or anything like that, like just make sure that you're not putting anything in like that into any of the AI features. But you can come in here to use it to build or edit resumes. So I can come in here. So this is one that I had, sorry, see the whole screen. This is one that I had uploaded. And if I want, I can edit it. So if I click edit with builder, done. Okay, wait. Where's my cursor? Here. Okay, that's taking a little too long. Might be easier to show you guys how you can do it from scratch. There's a lot on the screen. Sorry, I'm trying to move the chat out the way. If any questions or any things do come up in the chat, just let me know. Just got to move it out the way so that I can see the whole screen. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to my home page, resumes. I went to add a resume. And the options are that you can upload one, so that you saw the one that I uploaded and that I can edit it if I'd like. I can choose to start off with a template and then start editing from there, or I can start from scratch. So let's say I want to start off with a template. They have way more template options in here than what you saw on the just back inside of Brainfuse itself. So let's say I'm like, okay, I want the compact design. I'm trying to minimize what's going on here. They've got a lot of different options. I'm just gonna pick one. Can I make this health? Community health workers, early career. So you can preview it, see if you like this sort of formatting. This seems okay. There's not too many lines or weird things that I think might be difficult in terms of ATS. So I can elect to use that sample. Okay, so it's just put some dummy information in here based off of the template. And then I can go in here. I can change the template if I want. I can edit it. If you want to edit any features. So like it's not like working in Microsoft Word where like you have to like move line by line or anything like that. So one of the reasons why I really like this is because it can help with making sure that you don't that you don't end up with an issue of like, oh, my margins are too small or my text is too large or anything like that, because it really only lets you operate within certain parameters that it finds to be appropriate. So I can come in here and edit any of my information. I can remove that. I don't even want to put my address in there. I might just want to put that I live in New York. If I wanted to change my headline to, let's say, event coordinator. You can put your LinkedIn in there if you want, but you also don't have to include it. You can choose not to include that. And then you click save. So this is just the contact information. So for each of these sections is where you will be going in to edit the information. You can leave comments in here for yourself if you want to come back to continue working on it. Here's the relevant experience section. So here's where you go to edit each individual thing. And again, because it's just like asking you to fill in these sections of the boxes, you don't really have to worry about your formatting being weird or off or anything like that. There's some options there to help optimize stuff, but again, that's some of those AI features. And yeah, so then whatever changes you make, you can hit preview. And you can see that it, I mean, I didn't do very many changes, but yeah, if you wanted to change the font or anything like that, they do have a limited number of fonts that you can switch it to. Take a little bit of moments. It'll take a little bit of time to update. You can change the font size as well, reorder your sections. So if you want to switch stuff around, you're like, I want my volunteerism to be, my education to be above my volunteerism or something like that. You can do that sort of thing. And this is also applicable for cover letters. So I just copied some information. I made a dummy resume. Sorry, not a dummy resume, a dummy cover letter. I didn't really put any information in there, but I just generated this based off something that we had in our drive, plugged in the information. Again, you can edit or switch out the template or anything like that. I think this will go back, not to preview, but to edit. Preview, sorry. Something that I discovered is that they have an option for like compact mode. So earlier we were talking about like resume might be really long, don't necessarily want it to take up so much space. So let's say you're experiencing the same thing with your cover letter or with your resume, you can kind of like switch on and off this compact mode version. And so now I know that it goes to 2 pages, right? But let's say I was like, 2 pages is too much. I don't think I need that much. I don't want to take up that much space, but I am concerned that I don't want to cut any of the content that I have. You can switch it on to compact mode, or like I said, make any of those changes, and kind of just copy your information in there. You can put hiring manager, whatever job that you're applying for. Um, you don't necessarily need to fill out all of, just because the boxes are there does not mean that you're required to fill them out. So there are some things that are left blank because it's not necessary. I'm not giving, I don't necessarily need to give my home address for a cover letter, right? I can just give them my email, and I copy and paste in here. So it gives you some prompts on what you should do. So for the subject line, provide a concise description of the subject of the letter. Email cover notes should include a concise, informative subject line. So it tells you, but it also says that this is optional. You can change out the salutation, whatever you want. It gives you some tips on how you might want to address the letter, whether you're addressing to a specific person, or if you don't know who you're actually talking to, you can just do dear hiring manager. They give you ideas for the sections that you should include. So in the first section, or maybe perhaps the first paragraph, you can introduce yourself, express your interests, and explain why you're writing. And it gives you some tips on being concise and stuff like that. So you copy and paste this all in here. And then when you're done, you press preview. And you can, of course, download these. You can download your documents. You can clone it. Like, let's say, like, okay, I did this one to apply to this particular position, but now I want to copy it over so I can apply to another one. Like, I'm going to use the same letter. I'm just going to change out the name, essentially, of who I'm applying with. You can do that. And again, it'll let you kind of like track everything in here so you won't lose any of your documents. All of this is associated with your Brainfuse account, which is associated with your library card. We've got some, let's go back to the dashboard. See all the other stuff. They've got some tutorial videos here as well. Let's say you're like, I want to write a pitch. I'm trying to like cold email a hiring manager. You can check out the pitches, the sample pitches that they have available. This you can search for. So let's say, so they have 4 examples of pitches if I wanted to, if I'm a health educator, if I'm a home health aide. So this, just because these are like for, they have a specific thing, you might have some language and assistance for how you might want to phrase things, but you can use any of these there. So it's got the sample. If I wanted, I could copy it and then begin making my edits so that I could create my pitch. To the dashboard. There are also some features in here. The dashboard, please. Okay. Now dashboard. Okay. It's a little weird on the back clicks. But yeah, so you can also take a practice interview if you want. So they've got some sample interviews, so you can just like answer the questions. This is a practicing and mock interviews is like a really helpful thing that I recommend also going to a job coach for, because they can, while these virtual versions can be helpful, I feel like it's not the same thing as having to sit in a room with a person, or sit on a call with a person and answer these questions like live, like off the top. So I would recommend using this kind of to like help you prepare for if you have an opportunity with, to meet with a job coach. But that's, if, let's say a career coach is not available, this is a great resource for you to use if you can't get any live support. Yeah, I think that is most of what I wanted to cover. I'm going to stop sharing. Do you guys have any questions at the moment? No? Okay, go back to the presentation because I think I wanted to end off with a few more things. Share. Okay, thank you for listening to my very long spiel. If you're interested in hearing more about some of the upcoming programs that we have here at the New York Public Library's Career Services Department, we are going to be doing a very similar presentation, only for, it's going to be open to the public, but in person. So let's say you want some hands-on experience with this, or if you want to like come like see someone like work through it, we'll be having two more Be Job Search Ready with Brainfuse JobNow presentations here at Stavros House Foundation Library later in October. This is the event I was telling you guys about, NYC Children Careers Civil Service 101 information session. It's going to be happening virtually on October 16th from 12 to 1:15 p.m. So if you're interested in working with youth, or if you're generally interested in like what types of opportunities are available working with the city of New York, the agency from New York City that is going to be presenting is NYC Children, also known as ACS, but the information that they will be providing will be applicable to any sort of job that you will be applying for New York City. So any of the agencies, including the Department of Health. So if you would like some more context about navigating the application process or the civil service exam process for working for a city agency, then I highly recommend checking out that event. You can scan the QR code there to register for it if you're interested. Am I missing stuff in the chat? Okay, sorry. I will so this is some more information about the different types of career assistance that you can get across the New York Public Library system. So other than our two hub locations, like I was showing you guys with the event with Onfo, and I was showing you the event page, there are branches across the system that also offer different types of events and support. While you will not necessarily be able to get the assistance at those branches of one of our career coaches, they offer stuff like resume and job search help, one-on-one sessions, or as workshops, sharpening interview skills, cover letter workshops, community job fairs. You can check those out. You can scan this QR code if you want. This is basically just going to take you back to the thing that I was showing you with how to navigate and like do the filters to find out about events happening at the library. And if you know anyone who is a young adult who is maybe interested in using college to kick off their career, or if they just go right into the workforce, we do have services that are available for teens and younger folks. If you go to nypl.org/teens and click on opportunities, college for college and careers, and they've got assistance there as well. That is the end of the presentation part of this. I will now answer questions. But if you are able, if you can scan that QR code and take the survey to let us know what was this a helpful experience for you? Did you want to learn more information? Is there any other types of things that you might be interested in getting from career services? It's very helpful to let us know how we're doing. So I will leave that up for a bit, but I see that we have questions. Thank you, Maya. Okay, so I see that there's the Maya linked the feedback survey in the chat, but I think that the survey that I have up here is different. So if you don't mind taking two surveys for us today, that would be greatly appreciated. I see someone said they have questions regarding library card. Would you like to come off mute?
Yeah, hi. So I wanted to ask you, like, I don't have my registration at New York Public Library Services, and I want to like have my card, like, or not digital or physical, I don't care, but I'm not an American citizen. I am a New York State resident. I am a CUNY
So,
student.
mhm. So
So
you do not need to be citizenship is not one of the requirements to have a New York Public Library card. I am gonna go over here. So if you go to library's website, then click, just clicked on get a card or apply for a card. It gives you some information. So are you located in New York City? Do you live in New York City?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm like very close to university's area, so I was basically looking for, that's why I was asking if we do have such libraries next to the school or. And
Absolutely.
second question is it one of the school's teacher told me that if you have a New York Public Library card, you get lots of museum access for free. Is that true?
It is true, and I can take you to that part of the website as well. But if you want to apply for the card, basically you just can walk into your local branch. So probably the 125th Street or the Harlem location for you. And you are eligible for a library card because you both live and attend school in New York State. So you can apply online and then visit your branch. Think the I think you just need proof that you live here. Um, like your student ID would probably be sufficient,
Uh-huh.
but you can also call your local branch and double check what the requirements are. I'm not
Yeah.
as familiar with the library card process because I don't process library cards myself. Um, but it's not a difficult application. They're not going to ask you about, it's not required for you to be a US resident.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
US.
can you again share that QR code for survey?
Yes, I can. Back in here. That up a little bit bigger. Yes, so through the New York Public Library system, and it might actually be something that you can get through all three of the systems, but having a New York Public Library card gets you access to something called Culture Pass, which I can. Are we good on the QR code? Everybody got to scan it?
Yeah.
Okay. Back over here. Uh, 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 uh.
This is career basic series or career. I'm just trying to find the name of this today's event.
Oh, I should say, do you see anything that says Brainfuse?
It should pop up. It has it.
Miriam, can you see anything like brain
It's
fuse?
the brain fuse. It's like one of the first ones up top.
Thank
New
you.
York Public Library.
Yes, yes, got
Job.now.
it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So let me see. Get free access to NYC museums with library card. Oh, this is an old blog post. But yeah, so with I was updated this summer though. So you get access for limited free access to a bunch of the institutions within New York City, thanks to Culture Pass. And so if I just searched on the website, Culture Pass, so that's the name of the program that gives us access, says to participate, you'll need a library card from the New York Public Library, Brooklyn Public Library, or Queens Public Library. You must make an online reservation to use Culture Pass. Depending on the venue, you can borrow passes for 2 adults, families of 4. Passes are limited and will be released at midnight on the first of every month and for the following month. And then it gives information here on how to make a Culture Pass reservation. So yeah, you can, and then it even has like a list of the participating institutions. Like you can go to the Botanical Gardens, you can go to the American Museum of Natural History, the Jewish Museum, the Intrepid, um, Queens Museum. Lots of different options that you get access to for free. And if you have more questions about the other things that your library card gets you access to when you go into your local branch, you can ask them more. So obviously, use it to like log onto the computers and stuff
Thank
like
you
that.
so much. This is so nice for you to share with us because a lot of these, first of all, the whole meeting was why it's important because it was so detailed and thorough explanations you gave it to us and it kind of like helpful to know so many resources exist like at such a like a, I've been in New York for 10 years and I did not know these kind of services ever existed like career coaching and
I was
resume
born
writing,
in New York
resume
and I didn't
edit.
know
Yeah.
about the culture pass.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's true because I think one of my old school taught me that New York Public Library also gives you the card and MoMA and a couple of other museums are for free and you just have to show your library card and you go in there. That's like awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for being so curious and engaging with me. I really appreciate it. And thank you also for taking the survey if you are able and available. And I will, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, like there's the contact information. We have the flyers with some more information about how you can get in contact with us, you know, how to be able to make an appointment, you know, how to access the databases, you know, how to get a library card. If you do have any additional questions for us, you can send us an email to careerservices@nypl.org.
Okay, thank you so much, Tanaja. This was an awesome presentation. We really appreciate it. Thank you all for joining us. You will be getting that post-event email from Handshake, and then you'll have access to this recording and the resources whenever you need it. All right. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you.
Maya, thank you so much. Okay,
Thank
as usual,
you.
you've done also another great event. Thanks a lot. Enjoy,
Awesome.
everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thank you again, Maya.
Bye.